What have I told you, veterans, that one small VA error could either open up your claim to past benefits all the way back to your original claim or simply send you back into the waiting game? That's the difference between a Q error and a duty to assist error. I'm going to break that down because there are a lot of Q errors going on right now and a lot of duty to assist errors right now with all this AI coming into the mix. And we have a lot of people being let go out of the government, right, with the initiation of the Doge and stuff. But together on this live stream, let's crack this code, okay? Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a Q error or a clear and unmistakable error and a duty to assist error in VA claims? These two terms can be the difference between winning your benefits or you as the veteran being stuck in limbo. So again, I'm going to break down in simple terms and show you how each of those impact your VA claim. And I'm going to give you practical steps to respond when the VA gets it wrong, and they do get it wrong, right? Many veterans have came to me and said, I don't understand this. And I take a look at their rating decision letter, and you have to understand the VA has a duty to assist you by the 38 Code of Federal Regulations. Okay. And I'm going to give you examples of which ways they have a duty to assist you. Okay. And then there are just blatant errors that they absolutely overlook and that they absolutely miss. And also, this is becoming a trend. They're just downright ignoring. They're not even taking a look at. I had a higher level reviewer. Okay. This lady got to 100%, by the way. Tell this lady that they normally throw out nexus letters and disability benefits questionnaires. That is not right at all. Listen, some veterans are not going to get connected if they do not have that nexus letter or that DBQ from an outside medical opinion, because that's going to be the only way that you're going to get connected. So that is not true at all. And they just say they're throwing it out. No, you're just blatantly ignoring it. And because they're ignoring it, that is a Q error. They didn't even consider the evidence at all. They didn't even mention anything in the reasons for the decision. So it's not right, but this is going on. And with the advancement of artificial intelligence, AI, a lot of things are being missed. And I'm catching this day in and day out. And it stinks because, yes, we're watching claims go a little bit quicker this year. I can personally say from seeing people what they're doing, seeing their claims. However, I can also, on the other hand, see where things are being missed, right? Things might be going fast, but they're being missed. There's clear and unmistakable errors. And then guess what? That veteran is having to wait. Okay. So, what is a Q? A clear and unmistakable error is a legal mistake in a VA final decision. Okay. So, key traits to talk about are it's rare, it's tough to win, but powerful. This must be an obvious error, okay? Like the VA just ignoring evidence that was in the file at the time, and you don't see it in the evidence part of your decision letter, right? If successful, you can get retroactive pay all the way back, right, to when your claim was filed or intent to file. So very important. So for example, if you filed for a condition in 2020, even though the service treatment records clearly showed diagnosis, then and they ignored it, then you can get back paid to 2020, giving you an example. Okay. What is the duty to assist? It's the VA failure. It's the VA's failure to help develop your claim properly. Okay. Like not getting your medical records, not ordering a CMP exam, just blatantly missing that, etc. So this is much more common. It doesn't apply to your final decision. It applies to only active claims appeals, and usually it results in a remand. So basically, what will happen if there's a duty to assist error caught, your claim goes back for correction. So let's just give you an example. The VA never ordered an exam for PTSD when you filed for PTSD and you never had a compensation pension exam. That's just not right. So basically, a Q error is past final decision, very rare, big payout if you do win. The duty to assist error is a present active claim, more common, usually means a delay or remand. So The Q error is like catching the VA red-handed with undeniable proof. Okay, while a duty to assist, a DTA error is like telling the VA, "Hey, you forgot to do your homework. Go back and finish it." Okay, so I'm actually going to put that in here for you guys, just so you guys know. Because if you're looking at your decision letters and stuff is getting jacked up and they're missing stuff, you need to be able to identify this. Or if you call us, we'll be able to identify it for you as well. But right there, right? The Q error is like catching the VA red-handed with undeniable proof, while a duty to assist error is like telling the VA, "Hey, you forgot to do your homework. Go back and finish that stuff. Go order my medical records." Okay. So if you suspect a Q, a clear and unmistakable error, get a legal opinion or work with an advocate or accredited rep before filing. It's a one-shot deal. If you see a duty to assist error, be patient. Use it to your advantage. The VA has to fix it according to the law. Okay, or to the Code of Federal Regulations. Always keep copies of your records, always, and double check what the VA did or did not do. You are your best advocate. I say this in almost every video. Be proactive on what you do. Make sure that you do it. Okay. Understanding these differences are huge. They can save you years of frustration. Don't settle for denials. Know your rights, know the rules, fight smart, but remember your claims, your benefits, your future. It's so important. So let's elaborate a little bit more on the Q claim. Okay. Um, the like I said, the VA makes mistakes. Okay. Um, there's a lot of claims that are pending. There's a lot of things that are moving through here at this time. But again, we are advancing with artificial intelligence and they're using and relying a lot on that. But I was telling a veteran this today that you cannot replace the human side of things. When AI doesn't catch something, then who has to fix it? A human, a senior level adjudicator, an actual person. And, you know, AI doesn't sympathize with the fact that you and I are veterans, right? It's looking for keywords, but I don't know that that always tells our story of what we've been through, of what I've been through, what you've been through watching. Okay. So, you know, the VA is laying off employees and they're doing it to cut costs, but I don't like what's going on right now within, the VA and stuff being cut. I can tell you personally, um, I personally, I don't even know where my primary care doctor is. They got fired, I guess. So when I go to my next appointment, I'm going to go look at somebody on a screen that's in a different city. So there's a lot of moving and shaking right now. And I'm afraid too, there's a lot of people getting burnt out, is what I'm hearing as well. Definitely from a reliable source. And, it's not good. So it just stinks because then people are going to end up quitting. And at the end, we still need help. Claims still need help. Things need to happen. Okay. Um, but again, the VA's most frequent mistake, again, is a rating decision error. And again, um, you need to be aware of that. Sometimes the VA rater gives a lower disability rating than which the veteran is entitled. So I want to talk about that as well, right? You submit your claim, and you have an outside medical opinion. The doctor marked you at 70% for PTSD, and now the VA is giving you 30%. Whenever you mentioned suicidal ideation and things that you say that you're battling through, okay, and the symptoms line up with more 70%, but then you go to the narrative and you see that, oh, we just fully listened to our contracted biased opinions of what we wanted to look at. And then they clearly ignored all evidence that you submitted with your fully developed claim. That's a Q error right there. Okay. Uh, you know, um, Failing to grant service connection for a disability, failing to assign a correct effective date, make an incorrect calculation of benefits is huge. So, you know, if you see that, you have to understand the most important document that you have, veterans, is you got to read through that decision letter, okay? And when you see and allege that the VA made a clear and unmistakable error in your claim, you need to call it out. You need to do a higher level review. And it's a motion for revision, again, based on a clear and unmistakable error by the VA. So if you receive a VA rating decision you disagree with and realize the VA made a clear and unmistakable error, again, you can file a motion for revision, so a higher level review. based on clear and mistakable evidence. Okay. Um, so let's talk about a Q claim versus filing a VA appeal. Okay, let's talk about this. Filing and winning a Q claim can be difficult. Um, VA appeals are the easier path, meaning you do the higher level review and you say there was a clear and unmistakable error in my claim. If you don't have new evidence and you're eligible to appeal, again, a higher level review appeal might be your better choice. I recommend that. And then when you get a senior level adjudicator in front of you, you let them know there was a mistake in my claim. So filing and winning a Q claim can be difficult and should be a last resort. And if you have exhausted other options, if the decision is still at the 1 year mark, again, the higher level review would be the better option for you. If you have new and relevant evidence, a supplemental appeal would be the right fit. But again, if they clearly missed something, you need to higher level review it. Okay. And if they didn't consider all evidence submitted with your claim, and you should be doing everything that you can to file a fully developed claim. So listen, it's on you as the veteran to prove the VA made this error and that the error is undeniable. And so to prove this, right, you need to examine what criteria must be met to meet the VA's definition of a clear and unmistakable error. So again, the VA does have pretty strict guidelines for defining what counts as a clear and unmistakable error, but your claim must meet all three of these criteria. Okay. The adjudicator on your claim did not consider all the facts available to them at the time. So they may have overlooked something when they decided on your claim, or they misapplied the law. Okay. It's important for you to know the 38 Code of Federal Regulations. Number two, correcting the mistake would have resulted in a different outcome on your claim. Number three, only the record of your case and the law at the time of the decision should be considered. Okay. So very important here. Q errors, clear and unmistakable errors, cannot be argued. This means, again, that it must be clear and that the original decision was flawed when it was made. It's much easier to prove that the VA didn't apply the law correctly to your claim than to prove the VA didn't evaluate the facts of your claim accurately. Okay. So it's much easier to prove that the VA didn't apply the law correctly to your claim than to prove the VA didn't evaluate the facts of your claim correctly. Okay. I am going to drop that in here, my friends. Okay. I'm going to put that in there. Okay. Yep. I just dropped that in there about that. So you can read more on the VAQ's claim guidance on va.gov as well. But again, example of errors that meet the Q threshold include if the VA reduced your disability benefits before making the required findings, if you were denied service connection for chronic disability that manifested after you left service, but within a period specified by VA guidance that has been granted presumptive service connection, if you, the veteran, meet the criteria for special monthly compensation, but you haven't been awarded SMC by the VA, and if you meet the criteria for Agent Orange presumptive service connection, but are denied service connection. Okay. So how do you file a Q claim? You wait until a decision has been made on your claim before filing a Q claim. The good news is that there is no time limit for Q claims. You can file a motion for revision no matter how long ago the VA came to its decision. Once you identified that the VA did make a clear and unmistakable error with your VA claim, then it's time to file a VAQ claim. It's important to make sure that there are no errors in your motion before filing, especially if you are disputing a decision from the Board of Veterans Appeals. Okay. So again, within your motion, you must prove these 4 items to be successful. You must be using a final decision from the board or regional office, and it could not have been appealed. And during the decision, the reviewer must now have had the correct facts, or they were incorrectly applied. The error must be unquestionable and not able to be argued. And you must prove that because of this error, you were cost benefits. Okay. So very, very, very important after you file your VA claim, right? If your VA claim for motion for revision is successful, your new effective date will be the date that you filed the original claim that contained the error. So that is excellent news, as you'll receive VA back pay from that effective date. If your motion is unsuccessful, you can file a notice of disagreement and appeal to the Board of Veterans Appeals. And you have several appeal several options for which of the three lanes to choose when you file a BVA appeal. Okay, so very, very, very important. Um, Most veterans don't understand this, so make sure that you do. This will really help you because there's a lot of riffraff going on right now with everything. And again, I'm going to go a little bit more now to the duty to assist error side. Okay, again, it's when the VA fails to make a reasonable effort to help you get the evidence that you need for your claim. So they are required to help you to get that. Okay. So, how does the VA define what a reasonable effort is, right? How much the effort the VA puts into getting your records depends on the type of record. So VA, military, and other type of federal records. The VA will make requests until they get the records. They'll only stop trying if they're sure the records don't exist or if they think further efforts will be futile. Private records, the VA will make at least one follow-up request to try to get your records. If they can't get the records you need, they'll tell you why they're having trouble and if you need to do anything. Okay. So is the duty to assist error good or bad? On one hand, a duty to assist error is bad. It means the VA missed something. Right. On the other hand, it's a good thing because it means your VA claim still has life and we're moving forward. Duty to assist errors are typically discovered during an appeal, which means if you get this error, you've already gone through the heartbreak of seeing your claim denied. But if it's uncovered that there is a DTA error, that means your claim could still be approved during the appeals process. If you get a duty to assist error, right, and it's uncovered, all you need to do is wait and be ready to respond if the VA needs anything from you. So if the VA fails to schedule an exam, you need to be ready to work with them to schedule that appointment. If they fail to request relevant medical records, be ready to send them a privacy release if they need it. Okay. How do they fix duty to assist errors? It depends on what type of appeal you filed. If a duty to assist error is found during a higher level review, the VA will close your HLR and open a new claim in your name to gather the missing evidence. Then they'll redecide your claim. If it's found during a board appeal, the VA will close your appeal and return your claim to your regional office for them to gather the missing evidence. Then they will redecide your claim. In both cases, you're going to get mail from the VA explaining next steps and what is needed from you. Right? There's no timeline on how long it takes to fix a DTA error. How long it takes to fix an error depends on the new claim rater and how much evidence the VA missed on the first go around. But if errors were caught during a higher level review, the new rater who gets your return file is required to expedite it. Okay. Let's talk about back pay with duty to assist errors. Is it possible to get back pay because of them? It's based on the date that you became eligible for VA benefits and the date you start receiving those benefits. If there is a gap in time between the two, you should get back pay. This applies to VA duty to assist errors as well. So say it takes 3 months to correct a duty to assist error that was found, right? And that was discovered during your appeal. Then if your claim is approved the second time around, then you get back pay for those 3 months. Okay. So very, very important. The duty to assist does apply on initial claims, supplemental claims. Okay. If you file a fully developed claim, the VA will not help you gather records. They also have no duty to assist with gathering evidence for higher level reviews and BVA appeals. For example, if you know of new and relevant evidence that you want to submit to your board appeal, you have to gather and submit the evidence yourself. You're your best advocate. We got to be proactive. That's why we got to help one another. The VA, what does the duty to assist include? They will help you gather relevant records and evidence, such as medical records, VA medical records, military service records, other type of federal records, private medical records like reports from a non-VA hospital or from your private healthcare providers. But the records must help substantiate your claim, veterans. If a record won't help your claim, the VA will not go after it. Okay. Look, the VA is not going to be proactive on your part. Understand that. They're not going to do any more than they need to and any more than you request. I want to be very real with you. Okay. So, and before they request any records, understand they're going to need information from you, such as the dates of the records you're wanting to locate, where the records are located, the type of records that you want to be gathered for you. They'll also schedule exams such as the CMP exam on your behalf. Okay. So the VA does have a duty to notify you if they're unable to fetch your records, right? And there are two scenarios which will trigger this notification: the inability to obtain any relevant private records you identified, the inability to obtain relevant federal records that are necessary to substantiate your claim, right? The notification will tell you what records the VA couldn't find. They'll explain what the VA did to try to get the records. They'll describe any further action they'll take to get the records and indicate that you're ultimately responsible for providing the evidence. Okay. So if the VA has denied your claim, don't freak out. You still may have a chance. If you need help, reach out to us. We are absolutely here for you, and just want you to know that. What's up, Jason? How you doing, my man? Anybody tuning in? So glad that you're here. Again, this is clear and unmistakable errors versus duty to assist errors. We're watching a lot of errors happen due to the cutting of government employees and VA employees. A lot of AI is happening. So you got to make sure that you're prepared on the front end. If you guys need help, reach out. We are here for you. We match or beat anybody out there, right? We are donational based. We want to continue to help veterans to be in the best position, right? Honestly, ethically, integrally, right? We want to make sure if you need a Nexus letter or you need a DBQ or anything like that, we are a safe place to be able to get that. If you've been denied and you need help, there's so many veterans, so many of you have reached out. We've been able to help you. We've been able to let you understand. We've been able to help you to move forward. You just let us know. We also offer treatment and counseling, right? In groups, group therapy, right? Service dog records or service dog letters and all that. So we do a lot of different stuff here, right? And we just want you to get the information that you need. And we want you guys to be in the best position so that you can get the benefits that you deserve. Every veteran deserves to be rated where they need to be rated at. So I'm going to answer a couple of questions here. Jason, what up, my brother? So I put in for a secondary and they never ordered an exam. They just denied it. I put in a higher level review and was not surprised, and that was denied as well. Okay, so if it was denied, then now we got to do a supplemental claim on this. We got to look at what the heck that they missed, what they're looking at, what the senior level adjudicator looked at. We got to look at those reasonings of denial and see what we need to do forward. And Trek M, I believe that is. You said if you had flat feet at MEPS and a service-connected condition caused it to get worse than formed plantar fasciitis, can you file for flat feet if it was pre-existing? You can file for it, but you got to prove how service made it worse. You got to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. And I highly recommend getting an outside medical opinion, right? If you need that. Okay. You can try it on your own, but you've got to prove how service made it wrong, especially if it was or made the condition worse, made the flat feet, or made the made the flat feet worse. Okay. If it was pre-existing. So understand that. Okay. Guys, everybody here, thank you for your service. I hope that this video helps you guys. Q errors versus duty to assist errors. Understand that. If you're just tuning in, this is embedded in here. You can go back and you can rewatch it from the beginning, but this is Q errors versus duty to assist errors. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, share this out with someone that can use this information, and let us know. Give us a thumb up, hit that notification bell. Again, share this out. Thank you for your service to our country. I really hope that this helps you out, and keep staying in the fight. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.